When I was applying abroad during my second year of A-levels, I applied to a lot of places. I applied to a bunch of universities in US, I applied to some universities in Canada, and I applied to some fully funded scholarships as well. For example, Turkiye Burslari, which is the one I got accepted to, Stipendium Hungaricum, and Next. Some of these universities rejected me, Harvard. Some of them actually accepted me, for example, Arizona State University and Penn State University in US, but I couldn't go because and some of these places didn't even write me back. Max scholarship, which is the fully funded scholarship. They didn't even write me back, didn't even send me a rejection email. But Turkiye Burslari was the last thing that I had going on for me, and so I wasn't sure if I was going to get the scholarship or not. I didn't even have the interview email, and so what I was doing at that time was I was preparing for the entry tests in Pakistani universities. Now, the A-levels high school system is much different than the national Pakistani high school system, and so the entry tests were designed according to this system, which is the National High School System of Pakistan, which is called FSC, okay? I'm having to explain this to my international audience, yes sir! And so I had to prepare according to this system, which took me a lot of time. I had to start preparing like 3 months before my entry test exams, and so that is what I did before I got my interview email. And even when I got my interview email, it wasn't an acceptance email, right? And so I was preparing for my interview. I was preparing for my undergraduate maths test, which is a part of the Turkiye Burslari package. You're gonna have it on the same day as your interview if you're an undergraduate student. I was preparing for all of that, and at the same time I was preparing for my entry tests in Pakistani universities. I applied to PIAS, I applied to NUST, and I applied to GT, which I think are the top 3 engineering universities in Pakistan. That's just my opinion, okay? And I applied to mechanical engineering in all of them. And I was just preparing for these whilst I did not have the interview email to Turkiye Burslari, and even after I got my Turkiye Burslari interview email. And that week was one of the most chaotic weeks of my life, especially when I had to give the Turkiye Burslari interview email. Because I did not only have the email, I had the tests as well. And for my Pakistani audience, this is going to be the case for you as well, most probably. My schedule was that I had my Turkiye Burslari interview on 26th, and then I had my PIAS entry test on 29th of May. So the 26th of May was Turkiye Burslari interview and test, and on 29th of May was supposed to be my PIAS entry test. And on the 3rd of June, which is the next month, immediately, 4 days after, I had my NUST entry test, which is the NET. And on the 9th of June, I had my GT entry test. And so it was just a chaotic 2 weeks of my life where I had to prepare for all of these, and I had to prepare for my Turkiye Burslari as well. Now, the entry tests are kind of similar, so you have to take the same preparation, but I had to prepare separately for my Turkiye Burslari test because it includes some IQ questions as well, if you've done the sample test, then you know about this. And I also had to prepare for the Turkiye Burslari interview. Now, I spent the week before the Turkiye Burslari interview, I spent the week preparing for all of this. And during this 1 week or 2 week window when I had all of these tests, I was just all over the place, bro. My Turkiye Burslari interview test. Now, I live in Sialkot, okay? I used to live in Sialkot. Right now I'm in Istanbul, alhamdulillah. But I used to live in Sialkot, and so I had to go to Lahore, which is 2 hours from my hometown, 2 hours from Sialkot, for my Turkiye Burslari interview email. I came back to Sialkot, and then I went to Gujranwala, which is like 1 hour from Sialkot, to give my PIAS MP test. I stayed in for like 2 days in Gujranwala at my uncle's house, and from there I went to Islamabad, which is actually the capital of Pakistan, which is about 5 hours from Gujranwala, from the city I was in at that time. So I didn't even go back to home. I went from my uncle's place to the capital of Pakistan, which is like 5 hours. I traveled over there. I stayed with my mother at a friend of hers. So, I traveled with my mother. I gave the entry test over there, and then I came back to my own city, to my home, and then I prepared for like an additional 3 or 4 days, and then I entered the GK entrance exam. And so that week was wild. I was traveling all over the country giving entrance exams, and I had this Turkiye Burslari thing going on for me as well. And it was not just me at that time. Everyone that I knew was doing this. They were traveling over here, they were traveling over here, giving this test, giving that test. And so if you have all these tests and you have the Turkiye Burslari test on top of that, what advice do I have to give? I've written have fun, lol. because there's really nothing you can do about it. You know, you just have to give the tests. But if you think you're alone in this, you're not alone. This is the way I had to do it as well, and this is the way you're gonna have to do it as well. That inshallah you will get the scholarship as well, just like me. It's gonna be awesome. And so what I'm gonna say is just enjoy this time, okay? And I made the best of this time. I wouldn't say I made the best of this time, but I really did enjoy it because the entire school was empty when I used to go to school to prepare for the empty tests. And so what I would do is, this one time I literally took my motorbike into the school, you know, which was really not really that allowed. Took it into the school and I drove it around the school with my friends sitting on my back. And so I think I'll find the video and I'll put it over here as well. Yeah, that's it. So if you have your exams and your Turkiye Burslari interviews, you know, you're not alone in this, okay? This is the way I had to do it. This is the way everyone you know is going to do it. And so, best of luck. That's all I can say.